like everything on this show, I'm honest, I'm authentic, I will never pull my punches. That's not what I do. I've got no one, watching over me, making sure I say the right thing. This is all me. This is raw, this is authentic, and so I say that because, trigger warning, you're not going to like what I have to say. People who have been watching this show that has been growing in numbers recently have not known my opinion on Marvin Harrison Jr. And now that the audience is starting to grow more than what it was in February or March when I started the show, they're about to learn my opinion on Marvin Harrison Jr. When it came to the draft last year, I was someone who was very vocal on Fox Sports 910. I was filling in for my guy Jody Ayler. And I said, Marvin Harrison Jr. is awesome, but I would trade back. And here's why. You can get a wide receiver legitimately anywhere anymore. T. Higgins was just available. For a second there, we thought Jamar Chase might become available. Tyreek Hill was available. A.J. Brown was traded. Guys are traded all the time. Guys are traded in the NFL all the time who are wide receivers. And people don't like to hear that. But my stance was, my stance always was, take Marvin Harrison Jr. Awesome. No issues with that. I think he's going to be a great player as well. But what would I rather have positional value-wise? What makes the most sense? It's not as fun, but what makes the most sense? It's Joe Alt. Because if I could have two bookend tackles for years, Paris Johnson Jr. and Joe Alt, I'm set. I am the interior of the offensive line is not nearly as difficult to find as the exterior of the offensive line, the left tackle and the right tackle. So I think Marvin is awesome. I have zero regrets about the pick, just for positional value's sake. And look at the same draft, Brian Thomas Jr. You could have drafted him likely with your other first-round pick, Ladd McConkey. Like, guys just come out of everywhere for wide receivers. Zay Flowers was a late-round pick. It's not super difficult. Now, Marvin Harrison Jr. is a good player. I'm not here to rag on Marvin Harrison Jr. I still think he's literally going to be awesome. I just think for positional value that it's different. I think Joe Alt matters a lot. Now, whatever, right? I trust this team. I trust the decision-making. They thought Marvin Harrison Jr. was generational, and I think he might be as well. I still don't think that. So with that being said, right? You're only drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. if he's you're only drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4 overall because he's generational, right? We can all agree with that. If you're not drafting him because he's generational, you're doing it wrong. Because you didn't need a wide receiver that badly that you needed it to happen at 4. You could have done it where you selected Darius Robinson and then got Joe Alt as your other bookend left tackle, who, by the way, was awesome last year. Like, just downright awesome, shutting guys down left and right. And so people don't like when I say this. Marvin Harrison Jr., like, read my lips, guys, was not a bust. But Marvin Harrison Jr. did leave some on the table last year. His rookie season did not satisfy me at all. And when people, he had 800 yards, he had 8 touchdowns, he caught whatever, however. Guys, that's great for Ladd McConkey. That's really great for Brian Thomas Jr. You spent the 4th overall pick on Marvin Harrison Jr. because you thought he was generational, right? And now, 1 year later, there's not much of an argument that Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors are better than him right now. Now, you might be sensitive to that, but the numbers don't lie. And the dog mentality doesn't lie. Both those guys were better. Not to say that they will always be better. If I could pick right now Marvin Harrison Jr. or Brian Thomas Jr., I would still take Marvin Harrison Jr. So that's what I believe too. And some of it is Drew Petzing's fault. I agree. But when you are the 4th overall pick in the draft, you have to be better. You don't get to have 800 yards receiving, and then I just get to be like, that was a good rookie season. It was fine. And to any other rookie, I would have taken it. But he was 4th overall. He didn't win a lot of 50-50 balls, if I'm not mistaken. I had that set up as well from Teo Mackey. By the way, guys, just because we have a lot of people in the chat, I am struggling on who to bring on for this week's Saturday show special. I can get someone on, but I'm not sure. I'm thinking Jason McIntyre to talk about the Brock Purdy extension. But I'm also thinking about bringing on a guy like Teo Mackey to talk some more Cardinals. But for the Brock Purdy extension with the Cardinals twist, argue some Kyler Murray. So help me decide who you guys want on this week, and I will make that happen. But I thought it was Teo Mackey yesterday that released this on why Marvin Harrison Jr. got put on so much weight. Yeah, here it is. So Marvin Harrison Jr. This is from my guy Teo Mackey. Why did MHJ want to add muscle this offseason? Just looked at his ranks and some key stats among 35 receivers with 100+ targets. Contested catch rate was 30th in the NFL. Yards after catch was last. Yards after contact was last. So when I see Marvin Harrison Jr. is putting on more weight, and when people get upset with me because I did see a perennial or a future top 15 wide receiver in the league. I did see flashes of that. But when you spend the 4th overall pick on a player, they need to be better than that. They're supposed to be generational, especially at the wide receiver position where you had a bookend right or left tackle, wherever you wanted to put him, and it would have been perfectly fine. So, Marvin Harrison, went horse there. Marvin Harrison Jr. has put on a ton of weight in terms of muscle. The dude is a big, beefy wide receiver now. You wonder how much speed that's going to take away from him because the more muscle you add, the harder it's going to be to keep your straight line speed. Now, some people are just physical freaks like DK Metcalf, and that is also true. But James Conner and an injury can derail the season. But that's just an injury, right? Like Kyler Murray getting injured could derail the season. James Conner could just derail the season because he's a running back and he is the soul of this offense at times. And it shouldn't be that way because you shouldn't be so reliant on a 30-year-old running back. Marvin Harrison Jr., I'm not saying if, but when, like, he has to be awesome this year. Marvin has to have 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, 100 catches, 95 catches. The idea that we need to lower our expectations so that we can just feel better about a draft pick is loser mentality. So I combine that with what are the things I need to see that is going to show me that Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be awesome? What is his work ethic like? And everything I see is, man, Marvin Harrison Jr. is always in the gym. He's always working out. Dude hasn't left the gym. They have to lock him out to make him take an off day. All awesome. So this isn't a rip on Marvin Harrison Jr. episode at all. This is I need to see significant strides in year 2, which maybe he does. He could have 1,300 yards, 9 touchdowns, 100 targets, and I wouldn't be surprised. But what I'm saying is the expectation for Marvin Harrison Jr. just needs to be higher because last year was not good enough. He was fine. He was good. It was a very fine rookie season. But when you spend the 4th overall pick on someone, and I can see in the chat that people are going insane at each other, which is I kind of expected this morning. But when you spend the 4th overall pick on someone, it just needs to be more. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. because he was generational. And Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors both look better than Marvin Harrison Jr. right now. It doesn't mean that I don't believe that Marvin Harrison Jr. won't be awesome. In fact, it wouldn't shock me at all if the dude had 1,500 yards this year. But don't lower your expectations. Marvin needs to be held to a bigger and higher standard. 1,250 yards at minimum, 9 touchdowns, 90 catches, 95 catches, 130 targets. He is going to be the key to unlocking this offense. Marv has to be awesome. There is no ifs, ands, buts about it. Michael Wilson, we'll see. Trey McBride has to be awesome. Marvin Harrison Jr. has to be awesome. Greg Dortch, we'll see. James Conner, 30-year-old running back, could fall off a cliff. Trey Benson's still there. But if this offense is going to do anything, Marv has to be awesome. He has to have a breakout season. It's not a fun thing to tweet and say, oh, year 2 incoming for Marvin Harrison Jr. And, put a bunch of highlights and gas him up. It has to happen. Because at that point, then you're talking about wasting a 4th overall pick. Because I can get a 1,000-yard receiver late in any NFL draft. Just last year, Ladd McConkey was a late-round pick. Brian Thomas Jr. was a late first-round pick. Marv has to hold up the positional value of the 4 pick. Because if you are going in the direction that we think you're going in, you will never pick there again. Because only bad teams pick there. But if you're picking there again, you're admitting something went wrong. So, although I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be good this year, the standard needs to be raised higher for him. 1,250 yards, 8+ touchdowns, 120 targets, 95 catches has to be the minimum for Marv. Because being picked at 4th overall came with hefty expectations. And it is very disappointing to me that some people don't have those same expectations because they're trying to defend from the fact that he might not have been worthy of that. And his mentality also kind of bothers me at times too. Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., those guys got some dog in them. Marvin Harrison Jr. is 6'4" and is the most talented guy on the field most of the time. But sometimes I do question the dog mentality. Larry Fitzgerald was quiet, but that dude was a dog, man. I need Marv to take after Larry Fitzgerald and his dad, Marvin Harrison. But that's what matters this year. If Marv isn't awesome, the offense doesn't work. It just doesn't. Because you're talking about having a bunch of 2s when you need a 1. Marv has to be a 1 this season. He's got to be more physical. He's got to be a leader. He's got to have a dog. He's got to get up in someone's face, man. Show me that fire. Warrant the selection of 4th overall. That's all I'm saying. And I have been very consistent on this. I have never wavered on this. Where I wanted Joe Alt last year because I thought it made more sense for positional value. Or trade back, and if Marv falls to you, Marv falls to you. But I'm not just going to crown him as awesome until I see it. There were flashes, like that Rams touchdown, both of them. That dude can freaking play, man. The Minnesota Vikings, I was there in Minneapolis. Damn, hell of a catch. I saw the flashes of Marvin Harrison Jr. That Rams game, that Vikings touchdown, he was awesome. He showed me flashes of what he can be. But just like Kyler Murray, he needs to show me that consistently this season. You don't get a long runway for being the 4th overall pick as a wide receiver. So that's where I'm at. That's where I want to speak my piece. He was trending yesterday because he looks like the Hulk, which is awesome, which shows his work ethic is freaking through the roof. All signs are pointing towards, yeah, this guy's going to be awesome. Just in the offseason. Everything I've heard, you guys know I'm in the media. So I talk with people all the time. Everyone tells me that dude's in the gym every single day. Can't drag him out of it. So the work ethic is freaking there. I just hope it can translate to the field, and I believe it will. But I just need everyone's expectations to be raised a little bit and not be so scared of being wrong. Being wrong is not a bad thing as long as you correct it.